So, very welcome, Kayleigh, to a new Nights of RGB podcast vlog thingy. So, I'd be very happy if you would introduce yourself, please.
Of course, yeah, happy to. So hello everyone, I'm Kayleigh, I'm co-founder of Kakadu Creative. We're a purpose-led branding and design agency that works with purpose-led businesses across all of their creative needs. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Wow. when did you start your agency?
So we are 5 years old this year.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've been around for a little while now. We
Great.
came from, our background was in the media industry, so magazines, newspapers.
Okay.
And then we started. I jointly run the business with Lee, who's my other half, but also my business partner. So we both came from creative backgrounds, but decided that we wanted to combine our skills to use them for more than just making very rich people richer. And
That's
actually
great.
use them to do good, basically. So yeah, that's where Kakadu Creative, the idea for Kakadu Creative was born.
And you're located in Great Britain, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're in the UK, but we work with clients all over, which is one of the beauty of the technology that we're using right now. You know, we can support people all over the world, which is really exciting.
That's really exciting. That's
Yeah.
really cool. And how did you get into the ethical thing? Like, how did you start, or what was your turning point that you said,
yeah,
let's do this now?
Yeah. It's a sort of quite a long story, so I'll try and keep it as short as possible. But I'd been very aware of just waste and things like that. But the thing that really started off the ethical journey, especially for me, was my mum got sick. My mum got diagnosed with cancer, and because she's adopted, we don't know our family history. So I didn't know if I don't know if I've got the gene that means I'm predisposed to getting breast cancer. So that led me into exploring reducing my risks, reducing my needs, the factors in my life that would increase my risk of cancer. And one of those things is obviously food, what we eat.
Yeah.
And so I looked at starting to cut out meat and dairy from my diet and reduce a lot of the things that were going to increase my chances. And then along with that, I then became more aware of animal rights and the animal agriculture, the impact animal agriculture has on the environment. And there was just all of these things that I was sort of seeing and becoming aware of, and thinking, hang on, something's broken here. We've got this really unsustainable, unhealthy system that we're all living in. And I'm a part of that. You know, the job I'm doing, the work I'm doing every day, coming into this office, working with these advertisers to create campaigns, to sell more products to more people that don't need these products, you know, that's all contributing to this situation we're facing. And so it was like obviously the health element of wanting to make changes from a personal perspective, but then realizing that actually all of our individual actions that we take every day are adding up to a really damaging situation. And it just got to the point where the more I was learning and the more I was becoming aware of and the more I was seeing, the more I just felt like I can't do this. I can't keep going on as business as usual. And with the knowledge of what I'm doing every day is just making this problem carry on and, you know, and keep going. And so Lee and we sat down and we having a conversation. He was seeing it all as well. And we talked about, okay, well, you know, what can we do? And obviously in our own personal life, we'd made changes in our own personal life as individuals, but we were spending a large part of our day, you know, we spend the majority of our day in a working environment. The majority of our waking living time was spent helping companies do damaging practices.
Yeah.
You know, not overtly damaging, you know, we weren't working with fossil fuel companies or weapons manufacturers or anything like that, but it was just more companies selling more products and more things, people that they didn't need. And the business itself was built on profit. You know, the goal of the business we were working for was to make more money. hit those targets, bring in that revenue and make more money. There was no other purpose other than that. And it just didn't sit right with us. So we decided, okay, we've got these skills, we have these connections, we have this knowledge. Let's use it. Let's do something good with it. So we set Kakadu up, and initially, it sounds really stupid to say this now, but initially we didn't talk about our personal ethics. For the first year or so, we purposely made decisions within regards to how we ran the business to make sure it had the smallest carbon footprint that we could. It wasn't wasteful. The clients we were working with weren't damaging, but we didn't talk about it. And then, a year or just over a year or so in, we sat back and we said, okay, we're running the business how we would want to run the business. We're working with the kind of clients that we would want to work with. But are we really doing what we set out to do? Are we really making any changes? Are we really changing the conversation? And the answer was no, really. So at that point, we said, okay, do we start bringing our ethics to the front of the business? And at that point, we had a conversation with a marketing strategist, and we said, what's your thinking? This is what we're wanting to do. How do you think it's, what's your opinion? And on the first meeting, they said, no, don't do it. And we said, oh, okay, why? And it was for very similar reasons that we kind of were thinking, in that you'll lose business, you won't be able to find customers, blah, 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 blah. And obviously, as a new business, being able to support yourself and pay the bills is a big challenge.
Absolutely.
So we were a bit like, okay, fine. And then the more we talked to him, and the more we sort of said about, the more he found out about who we are and what we do and what we're about, said, no, do you know what, do it, because you are serious about it. You're not just ticking a box. You're not just jumping on a purpose-led bandwagon. It's true, and your potential customers will see that. And you will then resonate more with them. And for us also, it was more we've not set this business up just to make money. That's a whole thing. We left the last company because of that. We want to do good. So we did. So we basically put our heart on our sleeves. We changed all our messaging. We told people who we were and what we were about and why we care about doing business in a different way. And it has been one of the best things we've ever done, because not only are we now wearing our heart on our sleeves, and we're more comfortable with what we're doing and what we're saying, we're also talking to the kinds of people we want to work with, and equally we're able to have conversations with people about topics that we would have never had conversations with them about before. So to give you an example, there was a client that we'd worked with from sort of day one of setting Kakadu Creative up, and we'd never talked to him about our ethics or anything like that. It wasn't something that our personal ethics. And then we started talking about animal agriculture, veganism, things like that. And he, one day I was chatting away to him, and he went, oh, I've got a question. And I was like, okay, cool, yeah, let's have a chat. And he said, I'm thinking about cutting meat and dairy out of my diet, but I don't know where to start. Can you help me? And that for me was just such we've done the right thing. We've opened this up. We've been able to now have conversations with people, not just obviously about veganism, but about sustainability, digital sustainability, the impact people's websites have on the environment, all of that thing. We've been able to have all of these conversations and change the dialogue, because we took that step to say, this is who we are, this is why ethics are important, and this is why we're purpose-led. So yeah, that's the story of how we got to where we are now.
It's amazing. I mean, it's a story of authenticity, isn't it? It's the more authentic you are and the more true to yourself, the more believable you are also to your clients. And it's funny because I also faced like the same moments of people telling me, no, this is just, why would you communicate that? It's just, I don't know, we call it in German, it's called Augenauswischerei. It's just wiping your eyes basically from tears. Right. And So I completely understand it, but it's lovely because I see that you're basically 4 years ahead of me with the whole like communicating things.
Yeah.
And I also think that it's very important to open up spaces to talk about these issues, and I don't know, offer the space to people who, I don't know, have the intention and the vision of changing things. I love that. I really love that.
Yeah. And I think it's something that's been really important. It's been a really important part of our journey, because it means I'm now able to have conversations like this and say to people, you know, if you are nervous, just like we were, if you're nervous about really going out there and really talking about the things that you care about and your ethics, when they don't align with the society at large, it can be really scary. And you can bump into people, as you found. You can have conversations with people where they say, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. You know, it's going to be a bad decision. You're going to lose business. Your business will close. You know, all of these things. And it can be a really scary decision to make. And when all you're hearing is don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, then people won't do it. And that's why I feel like it's really important for us to be really open and honest and say, look, we were there. We were at that point. We weren't sure whether to do this. We were even told, don't do this. And then we did it. And it's been the best thing, because like, obviously one of the concerns is around, will you lose customers? And I'm here to say we didn't lose a single customer. By bringing our ethics to the front of our business, there wasn't one single customer that said, you know what, you're trying to make the world a better place. I don't want to work with you. Enough. Nobody said that.
Very confusing to me. You do stuff and then you ask how you do that stuff? No. Terrible.
You know, that wasn't something that we found. And if anything, like I said earlier on, you know, it enabled us to have much deeper and more exciting conversations with clients about being able to change systems and being able to do things in a different way and seeing things in a different light. And also it means that, you know, I'm sure there are people that have heard our name or seen us or been pointed in our direction and have then seen our messaging and gone, oh, do you know what? Maybe not, because of whatever reason, you know, they don't believe in climate change, or they are animal hunters at the weekend, and you know they're just not right for us, and so they've not contacted us. And in my mind, that's a good thing. Yes, there are probably people that might have looked to work with us before when we weren't talking about ethics and would have contacted us, but now they don't contact us. So I don't have to have those conversations. Yeah, I don't have to have those conversations saying, no, thank you. It's, you know, we were contacted a few years ago it was about 2 years ago, by a company who wanted us to build them a website. And they were a clothing manufacturer. And we said to them, okay, who are you supplying? Because they made clothing for high street brands. So who are you supplying and what materials are you using? And they were using leather and wool, and they were supplying fast fashion brands. And we said, it's not for us. You know, the materials you're using are exploitative, and the suppliers you're supplying are damaging our world. So we turned it down. And that was really empowering. But by now being even more, like every year we're getting more vocal and talking more around what we're about, the less inquiries we're getting like that. And the more inquiries are getting from people that we absolutely want to work with and support and do good work for and help them to achieve their mission. So if anyone watching this is trying to decide whether to bring their ethics to the front, if you truly are passionate and it's really core to you and you're not just doing it to just tick a box, do it, is my advice. Absolutely do it.
I second that.
Yeah.
And this is actually a very important thing that you're saying, that the clients that are passing basically by you or passing you on because they're not interested in that, those are not your clients. The same way as the people who are not willing to pay the price that you request are also not your clients. So this goes both ways. And I think that's a very important point also. And it cannot be anymore like the tip of the iceberg, or the cherry on top of business services to offer that. I think it must be like something that's a given.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be communicated. This is actually the goal, that it shouldn't be communicated that this is offered. It should be communicated when it's not. It's like, it should be a disclaimer on companies like, we don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, that would be my vision for the future.
Yeah.
But let's talk about a little bit, because this is a very important thing for you, from what I gather, is like digital sustainability, like the way you build websites and how you sort of care about data pollution. Would you like to elaborate on that? That would be awesome.
Yeah, of course, of course. I mean, it was something that I've talked about a lot now, because it was something that totally blew my mind when I discovered it. So it was probably about a couple of years or so ago now. I don't even know how I first discovered around it, but basically the internet is incredibly polluting. In 2019, it was estimated that it releases the same amount of carbon emissions as the aviation industry. And you know, when you think about damaging industries, aviation is a big one up there. But do we ever think about the internet? I mean, people are becoming more aware of it, but the vast majority of people still have no idea around how damaging the internet is. And it's not just the internet, it's our data storage as well. It's all of this IT, internet related technology that we use day in, day out. We're using it right now, that is coming together to create this really massive environmental problem. And so it's something that we looked at and said, okay, we're one company in a huge business world. We're only small, but what can we do? What can we do to change this, to start to try and tackle this problem? And so we looked at, okay, what are the services that we offer, and how can we make them how can we make sure that they have the smallest carbon footprint possible? And that's where we looked at, okay, web design, web development, there is a massive area there where a lot of people will create websites unknowingly that are incredibly polluting. They'll fill it with really big, massive, high-resolution images. They'll load loads of auto-playing videos. They'll have just pages and pages and pages of really bad user experience, and it all adds up to making a website really quite polluting and damaging. But there are lots of techniques and tools that you could use to make sure that a website has a really low carbon footprint. And that's what we do. So we basically look at creating websites where they've got a low carbon footprint, but they are effective. So people think that to have a low carbon website, you have to have a really just blank white page, bog standard black text, and that's it. You can't have any personality or any creativity with a low carbon website. And we're here to say that that's not the case. You can have an exciting, engaging, well-designed website that has a low carbon footprint, that represents your brand properly, that engages with your audience, but is treads lightly on the environment. So that's one thing that we now champion. And the other is hosting. So one of the big things that every single business can do, you don't have to, if you're not in a position right now to redesign your entire website, redevelop your entire website, one of the simplest and easiest things you can do is change your hosting provider to a green hosting service. And that's what we have, a green hosting service. That was a couple of things that we looked at, and we said, right, okay, what can we do to tackle this problem? What are the services that we can offer, and what are the services that we already offer, and how can we change them? And that was it. It was low carbon web development and green hosting. So they're two big things that are really important. And that's one thing we're trying to just get the message out, is just making people aware of the impact the internet has, so that when they are making these decisions, say, 6 to 12 months down the line, a company is looking at having their website redeveloped, one of the criteria that they then bring into that brief that they take out to their agencies is, we want a low carbon website. Is that within your capabilities? So it's really important. It's a real strong message that we're trying to get out to the business world at large.
That's amazing. Perfect.
Yeah.
And what is like the most important thing for you, like with your clients? What is sort of what keeps you up at night? And what is it that sort of drives you to keep the thing going? Because it can be frustrating at times.
Yeah, I mean, from a client perspective, for us, it's working with companies that are here to do more than just make money. you know, and don't get me wrong, if businesses aren't earning money, they don't have revenue, they're not sustainable. So, and it's something that we've seen a lot when we talk to ethical businesses, in that, especially smaller ones, in that they will quite often undervalue what they offer. They will offer really low prices because they feel like they want to help people, and they want to get a product or a service to as many people as they can. But the problem with that quite often is that by doing that, they then really struggle, that business themselves really struggle, because they're not earning enough money to sustain themselves. So quite quickly, within a year or two, they're in a position where they're not earning enough to be able to carry on offering their services or their product, their ethical service or product, to the market, and then they close. And then a non-ethical company comes in and just sweeps up all of that business. So businesses, obviously, we're not naive enough to think that businesses shouldn't be making money. Of course, that has to be a factor for every business. You have to be able to pay your bills, pay your staff, pay your overheads, pay yourself, you know, all of those things. But that should not be the sole driver. There should be something else driving them, whether it's, for example, we work with a renewable energy finance company. So he's obviously trying to help businesses to fund renewable energy projects within their businesses to reduce their carbon footprint. We've worked recently with an arts council down in the New Forest, and they wanted a platform to help people in the New Forest engage with arts and culture, and people who wouldn't normally engage with arts and culture, and get them connected to their community. We're working with a charity at the moment in regards to a campaign to understand the barriers to reusable packaging in the local city and overcome those barriers. So it's, for us, it's working with companies and organizations that have got a mission, have got a purpose, that are doing something to make the world a better place, whether that's for people, planet, or animals. They've got something that's driving them more than just, we're here to make money. That's for us. And obviously the big, I guess, probably from a personal perspective, the thing that keeps every business owner up is, how do I find more of those companies to work with? You know, it's the age-old problem for any business. How do I connect with them? How do I find these purpose-led people? But yeah, that's the driver for us. Are they doing good? Have they got a mission? Can we help them achieve that mission?
In the best case, it's like an effect where everybody pushes each other up and helps each other. So it's becoming like a self-sustaining circle of I don't know, work that makes sense in a world that makes sense and does better. It's really beautiful. Yeah,
exactly. We want the people who are trying to do good to do good. We want to make sure that in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years time, they are the ones that are winning. And the companies who are just business as usual, just here to make money, they are the ones who are falling to the wayside. And that, for us, the goal, the dream future for us, is where every single purchasing decision made by anyone, whether that's an individual or a business, has as a question mark of, what are the ethics of the service provider? What are the ethics of the product? Yes, I need to know the value, the price, the quality, but what is that company's ethics? What are the product's sustainability credentials? That should be a key purchasing decision factor. That's our goal.
What I totally find interesting, now that we've been talking so much, and I've also been thinking about it a lot, is that so much of this work and these processes are invisible. Like, everything you do is the what, in terms of what is visible and what you can put out to the world, and how you, I don't know, get more clients to come in and stuff like that. But the work that is equally relevant than the one that you can see in the end is the one that cannot be seen. And this is like investing in the right sources, investing in the right source of energy, investing in the right client, in the right system of operating and stuff like that. And this is where you have to communicate so much more about it. Like, this is where you have to put yourself out and say, I'm doing it like this. You can see this, but this is everything that's behind it. And this is why it has so much more value, actually, I think. And this is what I also find beautiful in all like it doesn't matter if it's a graphics agency or a web designer or I don't know what kind of creative business whatsoever, but so much work is in the behind the scenes and in the how things are done. And I found it really interesting. So thank you for telling all.
No, you're welcome. And it's something that it's really important, I think. If anyone watching this is a purpose-led business or a business that is wanting to do more than just make money, and you're trying to make sure that the service providers and that you work with are on the same mission, just ask those questions. Don't be afraid to ask them, why do you do what you do? What are the processes that you go through? What are the steps you're taking to reduce your impact in whichever field you're interested in? And also another really big question is to ask them is, why do you want to work with us? Because that will really get to the bottom of, do they just want to work with you because they see you as a payday? Or do they want to work with you because they're excited about what you're doing and why you're doing it? Have they looked at your business to understand your purpose, your mission? And that's you want them to be excited about working with you just as much as you want to be excited about working with them. So that's a really key question to ask to really get to the bottom of that.
Yeah, your clients are responsible too for their choices.
Definitely.
It's always interesting to sort of play the ball back and forth. I think that's also a very relevant thing to do in communication wise.
Yes.
Thank you, Kayleigh. That was a really lovely talk. And I think it's really empowering to see somebody who's been in a business for a few years now and sort of keeps on going and does well for the world at the same time. I can hug you, look.
Oh, I can't get my hand.
I realized that with my big movements, like
my hand disappears. I can't do.
Having fun with technology. Anyway, what I wanted to say is, as you just said, like people who are in the creative industry, who want to make a difference, who want to work more ethically, don't have yourself put down by the fear of clients who wouldn't want to choose you because those are just not your clients in that moment. And the work that is done when it's done ethically has so much power and relevance in these days of age. So
and we need more people pushing in that direction. We need more voices saying we can't keep going in this direction. We need more people saying there is another way and we can get there together, because the more of us that are saying it, the more we will encourage others to take that step as well, and we can build a pretty beautiful world together if we all pull together.
Yes, we can. Okay, thank you so much, Kayleigh.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure.
Cheers, Britain, and see you soon.
Catch you soon.
Thank
you.
Bye.
Bye.